Guru Nation, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. I wanted to make a quick video on common misconceptions about clinical research jobs because there's a lot of them out there. And a lot of you think that clinical research jobs are all about groundbreaking science and innovation. And while that's true of the industry, that is probably not going to be true of people working in the industry or of the majority of people working in the industry until you acquire some seniority, or maybe you work directly with the innovators themselves. Like the majority of research sites don't do any innovating. They follow protocols. Now, if you consider following protocols, innovating, that's fine. So I always find it funny when I see research sites naming themselves clinical innovations or names with like innovations in it. And it's pure branding play because research sites are actually the opposite of innovating. You don't want research sites innovating. You want research sites following the protocols. There's some that innovate, I guess, when it comes to like what they do for marketing. I mean, I think Yuma Clinical Trials does some pretty interesting things and pretty unconventional things marketing, and same with one of my colleagues, Judy Galindo from Sun Valley Research. But to say we're doing innovation is misleading. And a lot of people think because of all these names they see, oh, wow, well, there must be a lot of innovation going on. There is. It's just probably not going to be your job. So, my name is Dan Sfera. Make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers to get that plaque behind me. And we're going to talk about these common misconceptions in clinical research jobs. Whether you're new to the field or just curious, I hope this will give you a clearer picture of what these roles are really like. So, misconception number one, clinical research jobs are all about discovering new drugs. Again, clinical research is all about discovering new drugs. Clinical research jobs, far from that. Many believe that working in research means being at the forefront of medical breakthroughs. While that's true, like in my 2 decades, I've been doing this for 20 years now. I've probably been involved in maybe 200 different trials. I believe five of them, maybe a little more than five, less than 10 for sure, have gotten approved and are out on the market. Most of the drugs you're working on are going to fail. And it sounds very depressing, but it's the reality of the situation. While innovation is the end goal, and you don't get to drug successes without many more failures, most jobs focus on operational tasks like monitoring, compliance, collecting data, managing logistics. It's more about executing the trials efficiently than coming up with breakthroughs or being on the forefront of breakthroughs. Like it's really about logistics and the things I just mentioned, which is pretty boring stuff. I would equate it to a football game where you may get a touchdown here and there, but the vast majority of plays don't end up in a touchdown. They end up in blocking, tackling, incomplete passes, penalties. They don't, the majority don't end up in touchdowns. Misconception number two, that you need a medical or scientific background to get into research. This is one of the biggest misconceptions. At least in the United States, that's not the case. I know in some countries, like Mexico, I was surprised even the coordinators need a medical background to get in. Not true in the United States. You don't need a medical background. I know many people with economics degrees, philosophy degrees, no degrees, doing very important work in research, such as coordinators, clinical trial assistants, and even CRAs. You may need skills, and you're going to develop skills like project management, attention to detail, good documentation practices, Alcoa-C. Uh, you don't need a medical or scientific background to work in research as of 2025. Misconception number three, the job is glamorous and exciting. So, clinical research is a glamorous career full of exciting travels and high stakes. This is especially a prevalent myth when it comes to monitors in the space. So, Those of you that want to be CRAs or monitors, you might have heard this before. Like, oh yeah, you're flying all the time, you're staying in world-class hotels, you go to investigator meetings. I mean, that is true. But again, much like the analogy of a touchdown in football or a goal in soccer, it's not the majority of the time. The majority of the time is like blood, sweat, and tears and getting hit in the face. So the reality is most roles involve repetitive tasks like filling out forms, verifying data, writing your reports, collecting vital signs, shipping lab samples, uh, not glamorous at all. Getting dry ice, packaging labs with dry ice, managing logistics, managing vendors. If you're a vendor, things like my Patient Ace recruitment company, dealing with Facebook, like setting up campaigns on Facebook and keywords and things like that. I mean, there's nothing glamorous or exciting about that. Misconception number four, the work is all about innovation. I think we kind of discussed this a little bit in misconception number one, but there is very little innovation. The myth is that you're constantly involved in cutting edge research and innovation. While that's not true, if you are one of these people that specialize in like a new therapeutic or a therapeutic area, you will see the newest things before they come to market. Now, you'll see a lot more that don't get approved before they do get approved. And while the field is innovative as a whole, most day-to-day work is highly technical, procedural, and regulated. The focus is often on ensuring trials meet strict guidelines rather than reinventing the wheel. And finally, misconception number five, it's easy to get started without experience. This is something that, especially in the CRA work, people think you can get started without experience. Not so true. At the site level, it is a little more true, but the myth is that anyone can jump into research without prior experience. The only place that is possibly true is at research sites. At my site, Yuma Clinical Trials, we hire people all the time without research backgrounds, but I'm hiring them for potential. And then as soon as they work with me for like a year or two, they can now go and get any job in the field, specifically at if they want to be a CRA or anything else. But with CRA, you do need a bachelor's degree. Breaking into the field is challenging. Entry level roles often require familiarity already with good clinical practice. You can find those trainings for free. Learning about clinical trial protocols, understanding therapeutic areas and medical conditions, and what the standard of treatments are, and what the gold standard assessments are. And you can find, luckily, all this stuff on clinicaltrials.gov or nowadays using ChatGPT. So hopefully this video helps demystify some of the common misconceptions I've seen people have around clinical research jobs. Another one is that they pay well, um, which is like a bonus one because they actually do. It is a fairly lucrative career, but not initially. And it becomes lucrative after, like, I would say year five of being in the industry. And then what is your definition of lucrative? Because yes, CRAs get paid a lot, but they get paid to fly and travel like 20 days out of the month. And then project managers, yes, they get paid a lot. Clinical trial managers, yes, they may get paid a lot, but they're also on call 24/7 on these global studies. So when you break down, like, because most of them that get paid a lot get paid on salary, when you actually break it down hourly wise, that's debatable. Now, if you own a site and you're successful, hats off to you. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Bye bye.